Years have passed since the end of the Great War, but for Kana Village, few things have changed. Where once they were forced to give up their rights to battling samurai, they are now pillaged by monstrous mechanical bandits known as the Nobuseri, who were once samurai but gave up their physical bodies for mechanical ones in service to the merchants who now control Japan through greedy enterprise. Faced with starvation, the village elder sends the water priestess Kirara, her sister Komachi, and good-hearted farmer Rikichi to the city to find hungry Ronin samurai and offer them food in exchange for protection from the bandits. Kirara divines that a wizened old warrior named Kanbei is just the man they need, but Kanbei tells them he will help on only one condition.
We badly need to strengthen our forces. Only experienced warriors will be able to stand up to them. I'll need 7 samurai, including myself.
7.
It takes some doing, but over time they discover young and completely inexperienced but headstrong Katsushiro.
We're all right, Lady Kirara. Just don't let go of my hand. Just run away!
Crafty street performer Gorobei.
Why don't I move in closer, make it easier? You can aim. Run.
Cheerful and mechanically minded Heihachi.
Kind of a knack for details, see? And somehow that always got me working with engineers. Call it luck or call it cowardice.
I don't suppose you'd be interested in killing about 40 Nobuseri.
Tight-lipped but deadly ex-foe Kyuzo.
Good luck.
Kanbei's peace-loving old comrade Shichiroji.
As it came crashing down around my body, I truly thought it would be my end.
Have you grown tired of battle?
Battle? Now there's a nostalgic word for us.
And a raucous wannabe samurai machine named Kikucho.
Heck, you bastard! Don't walk away from me! We're not finished yet! Hey, what are you fooling around for? You had the beast run down and pick me up!
However, defending the village is only the beginning of their struggles, as they discover women captured by the bandits have been taken to the capital to be used as vessels for the Emperor's new heir. These unwitting heroes soon find themselves the only members of a revolution against the merchant empire, and Kana is no longer just a farming village, but the battleground for a new great war that will test the strength of farmer and samurai alike in their defense of freedom. On the technical side of things, Samurai 7 looks just plain smashing. When it wants to, but it doesn't always. This series is Studio Gonzo down to its core, which means it has 3 distinguishing features. First, when it's time to show off, they show up. There is a ton of action with all genuine fights instead of speedlines, and most of the time they're really creative eye-candy fests as well, with several characters fighting at one time and interchanging battles throughout the scene. Second, lots of CG work, in this case the Nobuseri bandit monsters and the floating industrial cities. It doesn't always mesh, but it's definitely not terrible. In terms of Gonzo's track record, it's better than Gankutsuo, but not as good as Last Exile. It works and can sometimes impress, so it's definitely better than most attempts at jamming 3D into anime where it doesn't belong. Third Gonzo trademark here is a problem. They spend all this time on their blowout scenes and then they completely give up. No quality control whatsoever. Every so often the visuals in Samurai 7 get appallingly horrible, and not for 30 seconds, oh no, but about 8 minutes straight. This is never okay. I cannot unsee this. Stop it. My eyes hurt. Now my face hurts. It's starting to go numb from how bad this is. So visually, this whole package is a double-edged sword. The music has no such problems, though, with the score reflective of the film in that it features pretty much one instrument, and that's drums. Supported by many other traditional Japanese instruments in moving, pounding, really wonderful compositions.
I get a Peter Pan right here off of this dam, right here!
For the voice work, the archetypes are played to pretty strict in the Japanese, and this carries over into the dub as well. Despite being one of Funimation's early efforts, it's really very good. R. Bruce Elliott is a strong Kanbei, and Chris Sabat captures Kikucho very well.
Just play the odds on the bandits won, that's all. Because farmers are corrupt, and bandits are corrupt, and samurai are corrupt. Why would anyone risk their lives for anyone? But I'll fight for them. I'll kill all the bandits, damn it.
The rest of the cast is solid, but in this case it's just a matter of everyone playing to a static stereotype, with the exception of the slimy villain Ukyo, played by relative unknown Anthony Bowling.
You make me sound so wicked.
He gets to have a lot more fun.
Let me take her.
No, she's mine.
Boy, I spent a lot of time talking about the surface elements of the show this time, huh? I should probably get to the meat of stuff. Oh, well, that's the problem here. The flash and dash are kind of what this show is all about. You know how a lot of anime titles claim to be action-packed and you really only get about 4 or 5 good fights that they put in the trailer anyway? Samurai 7 is completely action-packed. There are fights going on all the time, and if they're not fighting, they are talking about fighting. Even the dialogue is really adversarial and dripping with conflict, and gosh darn it, it's entertaining.
Come on, I know you're itching for a good fight.
That being said, it's not really a fast-paced show. It can get all atmospheric and talky like most anime, but it's never really boring because something is always happening. It's well-plotted, deliberate, like a big old steam train of awesome sauce. Of course, the backhand to all this is the reason that sparser action isn't even a problem in many other anime. In many cases, the story and characters are strong enough that even long dialogue scenes can hold their own in place of all that splash and flash. In the case of Samurai 7, the plot is paced really well, but the story itself is scary close to Hollywood cliché, right down to the evil, enterprising government and their scary, polluting cities, to the heroes throwing the words honor and Bushido around like catchphrases as an excuse for more whoopin' scenes. The original 3-hour movie, Seven Samurai, had much deeper characterizations than this 26-episode series, which is pretty unbelievable. Kanbei's wise, Katsushiro's impulsive, Gorobe's silly, Hyozo's the powerhouse, Shichiroji's laid back, Kirara's feisty, Komachi's cute, the farmers are weenies, and okay, Heihachi and Kikucho have some depth to them, but it's still less than the norm. And while it is true that Katsushiro changes as a character throughout the story and the others do not, his arc is so boringly predictable and honestly fairly unsatisfying that it makes him hands down the most unlikable character for many. So I don't think I can count that as good development either. Instead of using the extra runtime to develop the characters, Samurai 7 opted to give the original simple conflict of samurai protecting a farm village into a national, world-shattering conflict with an explosive finale, making the original film's ending only the halfway point of the anime. Speaking of which, this is going to be especially obnoxious for fans of the original film, and if you haven't already seen it, I highly recommend you actually see this anime before you see the movie, because if you see the film first, you might be jaded, and won't get to have as much fun with a series that is constantly tossing up oodles of oohs and ahs. Seven Samurai has often been called one of the greatest films of all time. It is 3 hours long, but feels like only 1 or so. It is a masterpiece, and this anime is a pretty well done good time, but it's also much more shallow than most other mature aimed series, much less the rather legendary original film. If you want to watch this series, check it out now and you'll probably love it. Then watch the movie, and if you're much of a film buff, you'll love that even more. Samurai 7 is available from Funimation. The original Seven Samurai film by Akira Kurosawa is available from the Criterion Collection. A Hollywood remake directed by John Sturges that takes place in the Old West with cowboys in place of samurai, entitled The Magnificent Seven, is available from MGM. It's also not really at the level of the original film, but it is a rather good Western classic, and I recommend checking it out as well.
All in all, Samurai 7 is a... Stop that, it's redundant. Wild action-adventure that's sure to entertain, but doesn't offer much on a deeper level, and also falls prey to way more cliches than you would expect from an adaptation of one of the greatest movies ever made. The plot races along at a great clip and wraps up well, but the journey would have been better if any of the characters had some depth to go along with their varied personalities. And for better or for worse, this is the classic tale for teenagers and action junkies. Fans of the movie are bound to gripe, but for all the things Samurai 7 does so right as a compelling standalone, I give it 3 sliced-up shishka bandits. numb and I'm about to fall into the creek.